I am here to do my wrap up for the month of March, and I can't believe March is already over, but I was overseas for like half the month, so I didn't do that much reading this month. Like, I still read 5 books, but 2 of them were audiobooks, and that was times when I was like traveling in the car or on a boat or on a bus, so there was times to listen to books but not much time to actually physically read books. So 5 is okay though, considering that I read 3 books in the second half of the month. And yeah, I'm hoping next month I'll get a lot more reading done because ours is happening, and I'm excited for a month of reading, and I hope to get half my TBR read. That is the goal, but if I can read more than that, I'll be so happy. But anyway, let's get into the books I read. So the first book I listened to was Suitors and Sabotage by Cindy Anstey. I think that's how you say her name, and this is one that I just decided I wanted to listen to because it was like a Victorian era book and it was very cute and I did enjoy it. Like, I only gave it 3 stars because it wasn't the best writing, but it was just fun. The main character, Imogen, she wants to be an artist, and the main male character is named Ben, and he wants to be an architect, but he can't draw for shit, so he gets her to help him, like, and they do drawing lessons, but she's actually nearly engaged to his brother Ernest, and there's shenanigans happening when someone seems to be trying to kill him, and there's all these accidents, and it just starts to get very intriguing, and the ending did dwindle out to be nothing really, so don't expect some big ending, which also irritated me. If you just want a cute Regency novel, this is totally a good one to listen to. Okay, so next I read The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi, and this was the book that I brought to Hong Kong, and I read 100 pages of it on the plane, and then probably 100 pages in the next 15 days, and then I finished it when I got home. Like, I thought I would have time to read it, and there was moments where I could have read, but I was always so tired that I just went to bed. Like, I could have tried to read more, but it just didn't happen, and also it's a bit harder when you're staying in a hotel with other people and you don't really have time to do these things, so I was kind of annoyed that it took me 18 days to read this book, but I really did enjoy it. I gave this 5 stars. I love the cast of characters in this book, and the plot was also very interesting, and it was giving me Six of Crow vibes with the heist and the found family group here, and it was also an established family. Like, people weren't getting added to the group. Like, these people have known each other for years, and I loved that aspect, even though this book was a bit confusing because there's all these different houses, and then there's all these artifacts, and then things linked to people, and there's houses that don't exist anymore, and there's all these people, like, and there's the magic too, like the forging. It can be of the mind or it can be of matter, and I just had to kind of ignore all these weird things going on because I was like, I don't understand what this has to do with anything, and I hope that the next book, like, I'll be able to read it and maybe understand a bit more. Like, probably most people were like, oh, this is so easy to understand, but I'm here like, what's happening, and who is that, and why is that happening, and just it was difficult, but I still really thoroughly enjoyed the characters, and man, the angst of the main relationship was getting to me, and I loved it. Okay, next I read 4 Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte, and this was the Bibliosquad's book pick of the month for the month of March, so of course I was going to read this book, and I loved this. I had so much fun reading it, and it was such a good, like, murder mystery, and for the fact that this was a standalone, I just had so much fun. And also with this book is, when I first read the synopsis, I was very excited about this book, but I thought all the queens would have died prior to the book, so for the fact that we all got the queen's point of views and we got to know more about them, and like, they all have their own secrets, and there's so much depth to these characters, and I just had so much fun reading it. And like, most of the queens stayed until halfway through the book, and they were prominent characters, so it's 4 dead queens, but they don't actually die until quite a lot later, and like, oh, there's so many like plot twists and stuff happening, and I just loved the book. And I really liked Carolee. Like, she was a fun main character, and she's so sneaky and mysterious, and she's got the skills, and Baron is just a cute little bubby. Like, he's not meant to have emotions, yet he feels things, and I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. And just saying, with this book though, since I read it quite early on, and I've just had so much love for it, and I gave it 5 stars, and then recently I've been seeing everyone's reviews for this book giving it 2 stars because of 2 major reasons that I didn't pick up on when I was first reading the book, but when I think back on it now, I can see why this would hurt people a lot. First thing is, the 2 gay characters in the book died, so this is a trope of burying your gay characters, but I kind of wasn't feeling that way with it because we got to see the relationship between these characters kind of evolve. Like, we saw it in the history, and then we saw it in the next part of the book, and honestly, like, they were like the characters are meant to die, so it was kind of like it was meant to happen. It wasn't anything to do with their sexuality, like they were meant to die anyway, so that didn't really bother me. And the other one is, one of the quadrants in this story is like the techie place, and like they get rid of emotion, and they also do stuff with the generics to try and make it so that people don't have diseases and they get to live longer and they're just as strong as they can be. And people were irritated. The fact that if you have a disability, it makes it that you're wrong and you actually have to die quicker if you have a disability, and that's another thing that I understand. But again, this is a dystopian world where this one area of the world is striving for perfection. So again, it made sense in my mind why this was happening, and like, you can comment down below and tell me that I'm stupid for having these opinions, but any other book I would have been like, holy shit, this is so wrong. But it's how the book is meant to play out. It's the world, it's the characters, it's just the story it's meant to be. And sometimes you just have to accept that this is the way that a world is, because this isn't Earth, this isn't how we live, this is Quadera, where like disabilities are not a good thing in this world. Like what the author was trying to convey, I don't think she was trying to say that it's wrong to have a disability or it's wrong to be gay. This is just how the world worked, and I think it is sometimes okay for that to happen. Like if this was happening in a contemporary setting or in a book that is like our world, I would be thinking, holy shit, this is so wrong. But just because it is a different world, I just wanted to get that off my chest before people are kind of like, oh, don't you realize that there's all these issues happening in this world? And I'm like, I do realize, but I understand why it happened. So the second audiobook I listened to was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, and this is one that I just got really intrigued about, and I'm like, I want to listen to it, and oh my god, it was so good. I loved this so much, and I love this murder mystery idea. So this book takes place in our time, and it's set at this school, and 80 years earlier, when this school first got opened, the wife and daughter of the man who opened it, they were kidnapped and killed, and a student got killed, and there's all this murder mystery around this event, and the pseudonym that the person is taken on is Truly Devious, and the case was never really solved. Stevie, the main character, wants to solve this case, so she goes back to this school, and she's trying to figure out what's happened, and she really wants to be a detective, and she's really good at finding out all these details about people. And I definitely think like that was a fun part of it too, how she would just always be thinking this way, and some people were like, that's just weird, and she's like, that's just how I am. But then murders start happening in the present, and it's like, is Truly Devious back, or is it something else? Or I just really love this book, and like I love the way that there are some great friendships in this book, but I don't like the love interest. Like David irritated me, like from the first page I'm like, I hate you, and I never got used to him. So when he started becoming love interesting, I'm just here like, no, not keen on you, mate. And the last book I read was finally Ash Princess by Lauren Sebastian. So after 4 Dead Queens, I wanted another like high fantasy kind of world here, so I picked up Ash Princess because this is on my like 2019 TBR, and this was so good. Like I gave it 4 stars because the love interest actually kind of irritated me, in this like love triangle that was trying to be a love triangle, but it wasn't a love triangle, but it was a love triangle. It was kind of annoying. And also the main character, it was a bit like, you're meant to be so special and sneaky and cool, but I wasn't getting that vibe from her. So there was things that irritated me, but overall the world of this book was actually so elaborate and interesting. And like the idea too that having these people just come in and conquer your kingdom, and you're only kept alive as an Ash princess so that the rebellion never starts, because you're like, hey, this is your princess and we will kill her if you keep going against the people that have taken over your kingdom. So it was a very interesting story though, because she's been oppressed for so long, and for her to suddenly be like, you know, this is enough, like I'm gonna fight for my people, they deserve to be able to have their kingdom back. And I'm so excited for book 2 to see what else is gonna happen in this story, because I think it's gonna be very, very good. But this definitely was a book that I'm happy I read, and I just really enjoyed it. So towards my physical TBR, I haven't really gotten it that much smaller this month because I only read 3, because the audiobooks I just add to what I read on Goodreads, so they're not part of my TBR. So audiobooks are great, they're just not helping me get the TBR down, but I'm getting more reading done, so that's okay. But I am very happy with these books. Like I enjoyed all of them, and I think I did have a really good reading month, considering like Suitors and Sabotage was my least favorite book of the month, yet I just had a lot of fun with that book. Okay, so I didn't manage to like do good this month with the book buying, so I read 5 books, and originally I'd only bought 6 books, but near the end of the month I saw some more bargains on on my Love Oz and I bought 3 more books. It's so easy to buy the bargains now that it's not as much money to buy them, but I should try and read them more often. So next month, because I have the hours going and I have a TBR set, I'm gonna try and not buy a single book and then buy some anticipated releases in May. So hopefully I don't buy anything in April. I'm really gonna try and not buy anything, and I hope that I can. So now I'll tell you how I went TBR money challenge wise. So Suitors and Sabotage was read a book with your initials on the cover, and so her initials are CA and I am AC, so it swapped around, but still I think it worked. So that added $5 to my jar, but then I bought 3 new books and it cost me $41, so I then only had $4 in my TBR jar, and I was like, oh. But then I read a 2019 release and I read The Gilded Wolves, so that added $5. But then I read a book from multiple POVs and that was 4 Dead Queens, and I definitely think this one worked because there was 6 POVs throughout the whole book and it was done very well, so that added $5 more. A book set in 2 different time periods, so Truly Devious. So it had the crime happening 80 years ago and then we were with Stevie, so again another good one to use for that prompt. And then the next challenge was read a first book in a series, so that added $5. So I read Ash Princess, and then I did buy the 3 new books, so it only cost me $6, guys. Like $6 to buy new books. It's crazy. And so my new total for the end of March was $18. So I think that's pretty okay. Like I was up to $40 at the end of February, but I did spend some money. So I got $18 back into my TBR fund, and over April, hopefully I will get quite a few books read. Like I may get $30 to $40 worth of money chucked into the jar there. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to buy like maybe 3 or 4 of my anticipated reads, and then there'll be more books to read. So I'm excited for how this month went, really. And like, yeah, I could have read more books if I was reading for the first half of the month, but oh well, I still got some good books read, and I'm happy that they were all good ones and there wasn't any shit ones this month. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!